talking about a home. Talking about me and you. Things we'll do. I said a home. Not talking about a one-night stand. I wanna be your man. I said a home.
From the people who bring you Charleston Home and Design Magazine, the Charleston Home and Design Show, the Custom Home and Remodel Show, and Charleston's online home show, newhomecharleston.com, this is Talking About a Home. Talking About a Home is a home show on the radio, featuring interviews with local experts, home tips, trends, and ideas you need to know to make your home better. I'm Michael Blaze with 5 Star Real Estate, and this is Talking About a Home.
Good afternoon. I'm Tim Barkley with Charleston Home and Design Magazine, and I want to thank you for listening to Talking About a home show on the radio. In addition to our radio show Talking About a Home, we also publish Charleston Home and Design Magazine, winner of the American Society of Interior Designers Excellence in Design Media Award, and also the American Institute of Architects Charleston Chapter's Honor Award for Journalism. You may also be familiar with the 3 custom home shows we organize: the Charleston Home and Design Show, which takes place every January, Charleston's only open-air home show, which takes place every April at Family Circle Stadium on Daniel Island, and the Custom Home and Remodel Show and Hurricane Expo, which takes place every August. Well, today we've got a great show lined up for you. You're going to be listening to interviews that are in the newest issue of Charleston Home and Design Magazine, the fall issue of Charleston Home and Design Magazine, which is now available for pickup. And when I say you're going to be listening to interviews from the magazine, if you pick up the new issue of Charleston Home and Design Magazine, after certain stories, you'll see a QR code, a small barcode, and if you scan that with your smartphone or you go to our website, you can watch a video that's associated with that particular story. And this is you're going to be listening today to the audio from some of those videos. So if you happen to like what you read and you want to get some more information, listen to today's radio show, and you can go to our website or pick up an issue of Charleston Home and Design Magazine and scan that particular QR code with your smartphone and be able to watch the video that's associated with it. But before we get to that, joining me now is Patrick Brickman, the art director at Charleston Home and Design Magazine. How you doing, Patrick?
I'm great. How you doing, Tim?
Good. Patrick, I wanted you to take a couple moments and talk about the newly redesigned website for Charleston Home and Design Magazine, and it's quite a radical improvement from the previous website that we had. Take a couple moments and tell everybody why they should visit charlestonhomeanddesign.com.
Sure. Well, our website is brand new. We took our old website and kind of focused on certain aspects that we liked and started from the ground up, clean slate, with a nice, clean design. I custom designed the website, and there's a lot of good features on it that you would want to check out.
Yeah, and Patrick, you as our art director, you designed the look of charlestonhomeanddesign.com.
Yeah, that's correct. And I wanted it to kind of mimic the magazine, nice, clean, big photos, easy to navigate, and user-friendly. And I think we accomplished that goal and went beyond that. And one of the most important parts of it is the Home Professionals Resource Guide. And if you are building a home or you're just starting a project, this is where you can easily find whatever category of things you need, whether it's cabinets, countertops, flooring, an architect. And it's very easy to search through that and find clients that are within the magazine. And when you get to their page, you can view 10 of their photos. You can view editorial where they're covered in the magazine.
And these are photos of projects that these companies have already done, and also articles that have been written about these particular companies.
Yeah, that's correct. They're mainly local projects that we have photographed. Some are submitted, but it gives you an idea what the company's about and tells a little bit a background of the company. It also features some video and some links within that profile page. So you can kind of view all the different companies if you're interested in starting a project with them.
And that's one of the most important things that people should be doing. They don't always do this, but they need to do their homework, and you know, without taking the time to set up an appointment with a company, they can look at some of their work and maybe watch a video, and then link over to their website themselves.
Yeah, exactly. So that's one of probably the most important parts of our new website, is just making that easy to find and navigate and really showcase what our clients have to offer. Some of the other nice features of the new website are our social media links. They're right there at the top. You know, everyone sees the Facebook icon, Twitter, and if you want to, you know, stay connected with us, you can find those very easily at the top there. Another big thing we started was a blog, and we have a live feed on our website which stays current to our latest blog post, and we go out on so many nice photo shoots of these homes, and there's only so much room in the magazine, and this blog really lends itself to showing more photos and high quality resolution shots of these interiors and exteriors, and you get just more coverage of some stuff you might see in the magazine.
And the videos, the interviews that you're going to be listening today, the videos, you can go to charlestonhomeanddesign.com and watch those videos, charlestonhomeanddesign.com, and we hope you will visit our new website at charlestonhomeanddesign.com, and have a great weekend, and enjoy today's show.
Hi, I'm Christy Conway with Charleston Home and Design Magazine, and I'm here in this amazing Daniel Island home with a very large group of people. And they have done an amazing job on this home, this remodel. And so we're here to talk to them about kind of their participation and the collaboration that has gone on with all of them. So I first want to talk to Bob of Robert Morgan Fine Homes. Bob, how are you doing?
Fine, how are you?
I'm doing great. Tell us kind of some backstory on this home, so then we can talk to the rest of them about their participation.
Well, this home was originally started in probably 2004, and it sat vacant for, actually maybe 2006, excuse me, and it sat vacant for 4 years, and then we were brought in by the current owners to remodel it, to do a total renovation. It was Tuscany style inside, so they didn't want that, so we ripped most everything out of the inside and started over. And so we went from there, and you see what you have here now. So
not Tuscan. Traditional style.
Yes.
Okay. And tell us about one big challenge that you faced in remodeling this home.
Well, we're custom home builders that our expertise is dealing with people out of state. But in this case, we did have out-of-state owners from San Francisco, but at some point about middle of the way through, they decided not to move here. So we had an additional challenge of dealing with this house and bringing everything together without an owner actually moving here, and kind of completing it as they wanted us to, would be right for this locale. So that's what we did. My wife, Catherine, was very instrumental in that as well.
Now, Catherine, obviously you chose a lot of the features in this home based on sending emails and kind of trying to get feedback from a homeowner. Can you talk a little bit about that process?
Well, Laura just said, Catherine, I like your style. I want you to finish the house. You know what I like, so I would take photographs of certain marbles, granite, and stuff like that, and email it to her. That how do you tell you like this? Is this the color? Is this, am I going in the right direction? She emailed me back, said yes, keep going. And I used a lot of her paint colors that she originally chose, hoping that maybe she might change her mind. And when she came to see the house that was completed, she goes, well, yeah, this is something I can live with. And backsplash, plumbing fixtures, yeah, all the countertops especially, it was my treat to do. That's the most fun, picking out countertops. And fireplace surrounds as well.
So now, as Robert Morgan Fine Homes, you work with a lot of people in the Low Country, and you've kind of gathered together a team of people that you trust. So I want to get to talking to them. Can you tell us exactly how long you've been in business and why you've chosen the people that you decided to work with?
We've been in business 38 years. I'm dating myself.
You look not a day older than 40.
Well, you're sweet. We've been in business 38 years. We're from Charlotte, and we've been in the Charleston area for about 10 or 11 years now. But when we first came down here, I had a good team up in Charlotte. But when we came down here, you have to go through different subs. But it takes a couple years to get through that. But now we do have a good team. These people are here.
So, Robert, how did you come to find these subs that have been so reliable for you?
Well, it's like any builder. You go through a certain number before you get the right group. And we have the right group now. I try to keep one or two subs maybe in each field, but these people that you see here, in their category, that's who I use. I pretty much rely on them. I'm a very loyal person. If they do us right, we'll do them right too. So they're priced, they're always going to be price competitive, I feel, so we're going to stick with them. And it's very important for a builder to have good subs, because that's his backbone. Right. If he doesn't have the good subs, then the product won't turn out like we envision and like our homeowner envisions.
Okay. Well, I want to take a moment to kind of introduce everyone. We have Diane from Rick's Lighting.
Hi, how are you today?
I'm doing well. And we have Steele from Circle Lighting.
Hi, how are you?
And we have Paul from Aquablue, as his shirt says. And,
thanks for having me.
Jessica from, pardon me, sorry, I'm just going to scooch in here, from Molops.
Hello.
And finally, we have Chuck from Connect Tech. Chuck, how are you doing?
Good.
Okay, so we'll just start from this end and kind of work our way back. Chuck, tell me, what kind of challenge did you have taking on this home?
Oh, well, this home was started by another company, and there was an enormous amount of wire. We kind of went back through, and it was maybe 20, 25 miles of wire.
Miles, you said?
Miles, yeah. There's a lighting control system that's very comprehensive. Basically, every switch in the house is controlled through touch panels, which then in turn can be controlled remotely through your phone or your iPads, through your television, remote controls, all of that stuff. So bringing that all together, it was probably 3-4 weeks of just discovery and discovering where certain wires ran and were supposed to go and maybe didn't end up. So just identifying those issues and being able to bring it together and then move forward.
This house was actually half finished when you kind of took over, right? So whoever had been doing the work had stopped halfway through. So that's kind of what you had to deal with, right?
Yes, very true, yeah. So, yeah, there was kind of like what I was saying. You would find, okay, well, this is where this is supposed to go, but we don't see the other end of it,
right. So it's not that the person before you just didn't know what they were doing necessarily, it just wasn't a complete job.
Right. The story.
And maybe some incompetence, but anyway.
Right. Yeah, it was. The previous group was it was time to stop work on the house when things happened. So.
Okay. And Jessica, moving on here. Jessica, can you tell me a little bit about the fixtures that were chosen? Because Molops focuses on plumbing, right, in this home. It was mainly plumbing that you guys were involved with. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes. The homeowner, Laura, she had a very distinct style, and as you can see, everything's pretty traditional. She did mix up the finishes here and there. There's a lot of polished nickel and oil rub bronze in the house. She also had a very clear vision for what she wanted the master bathroom to look like, and so that was finished. I mean, it was tiled. There was a different tub in there and everything, and we took all of that out and went down to the studs and started back over. So it was fun, but and Catherine has a really good eye for plumbing too. So once Laura kind of backed out of it, Catherine was a big help to finish the project.
Now, I actually heard that the tub that was in the master bathroom was $17,000 and it was removed. Is that right?
That is correct. It was a stone, freestanding, hand-carved stone tub, and when we were discussing how it was looking very Tuscan, that wasn't the way she wanted to go. So the tub was removed and donated, and she went back with a more traditional freestanding style tub.
And what's the brand of a lot of the fixtures in here?
There's a lot of high-end fixtures in here. There's a lot of Roll and Kohler and Toto and a lot of Roll. Would
you say that Moelis focuses mainly on high-end fixtures, or would you say you have a range of fixtures to offer people?
Yeah, we definitely can run the whole gamut. Yep.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Jessica. Okay, Paul, scoot up here.
Alrighty.
All right, so I've been in the backyard, and it's pretty amazing. Just from my kind of eye, and I don't have much of an eye, it looks like a bigger pool than normal, right?
Yeah, kind of like everything in the house. The pool's
Bigger.
sort of grandiose, right? It's larger than your typical backyard pool. It's sitting on a block wall foundation, so it's elevated to make it sort of part of the home, which is an attractive feature for a lot of people these days. I think it's 18 by 36, and it does have 35 foot of a negative edge. That's the spillover. Right. And actually, the catch basin is just like a little small pool. It's about 4 foot wide. The spa is a little bit bigger than what's typical. It's got extra hydrotherapy jets, an extra booster pump, so the spa kind of rocks and rolls, if you'd like it to. There's a big 8 foot granite spillway, so when the spa fills up, it spills over into the pool, and the water cascades into the pool and then cascades over the negative edge. And we were also lucky enough to install the deck, and it's got a natural stone travertine deck, a 4-piece called a Versailles pattern. And everything about it's high-end, and I was lucky enough to be able to pick the finishes myself, so I'm proud of that. And it kind of, if we were out there, you could see it sort of matches the water out there.
Now, your Aqua Blue has done a lot of kind of high-end pools. You guys were actually involved in the HGTV Dream Home, am I right?
I heard about that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That was mine.
You heard about that? Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yes. Well, so congratulations. So this is kind of no big deal to you that you do custom pools all the time, right?
Yeah, no big deal at all.
Yeah.
Just a walk in the park.
Now this pool is what, like 4 times the size as the HGTV Dream Home pool?
Probably, yeah. On that scale, I think it's about, 4 of the Dream Home pools could probably fit in that pool. So.
Okay. Well, I did want to talk to Chuck actually about the pool scenario too. You actually installed an alarm system for if the children run out and they may fall in the pool, the parents inside would be able to hear an alarm?
Right, yeah. So anytime any of the access doors to the back deck or pool area are opened, then, an alarm will go off so that you can hear it.
And that's standard practice now, is that right?
It is. It's part of building code, and it's required before a certificate of occupancy can be issued.
Great. Well, thank you so much. All right, Steele, we're on to you. So behind us actually is a pretty amazing light fixture that you guys provided. Would you call that a sconce or a chandelier, mini chandelier? Okay. I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay. All right. So is that typically the style that Circa has, or?
Yeah, we do mainly traditional and transitional. It gets a little more edge and a little more contemporary with that polished nickel finish, but typically throughout the house you'll see a lot of brass and some bronze sconces as well.
Yeah, mainly Circa provided a lot of sconces. Is that because it's traditional, mainly people choose sconces, or?
It just depends on what the homeowner wants. I guess when they did the electrical plan, they had planned out for different sconces, and since this is more of a traditional home, it kind of went that way.
And of course you work with Catherine directly in choosing every fixture. You came to the house, is that right?
I didn't. I think Catherine kind of had an idea of what she wanted and came to the showroom and selected that way.
She's got a good eye.
Great eye. She does.
She's easy to work with. I'll call her and tell her what I'm looking for. I said, find me something. And then she'll send me an email. Does this work? Sure.
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
Yeah, it's easy. Yeah.
So how long have you worked for Circa?
3 years.
So you know the products inside and out.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
All right. And is this the first or one of many projects?
One of many projects that we've worked together on. Yeah.
Fantastic. Do you have anything else to say about the lighting situation in the home?
I'm looking forward to hopefully the new owners when they purchase the house coming in and getting all the big decorative chandelier pieces. So.
Because the entryway is bare right now,
Yeah,
right?
in the dining room, and there's a spot right here too. So looking forward to that.
Well, I'm sure they'll choose you guys. Great. Well, pardon me.
Sure.
Okay, Diane. Last but definitely not least. Okay. So you are also involved in the lighting in the home, right? But in a different kind of position. Okay. Can you talk a little bit about your involvement?
Yeah, like I said, we started from the skeleton, as you would. I work a lot with Dennis, their job supervisor, on this. That I come in before the walls go up. We lay out where the cans were going to go, the best optimal lighting for each room. Picking out the under cabinet lighting, as we were talking about earlier, being the new LED. Again, making sure that they would work with the 25 miles of wiring that we had, because I had to know what was low voltage and what was line voltage, and it became a bit of a challenge at first, and Dennis and I were knocking heads back there, but no, you can't use that. But we ironed it all out and worked it out, and with Catherine as our guide, as always, it all come together.
So you have cans. You mentioned to me earlier it was like
There
over
are
100?
100 plus cans in this house. Yeah.
And then,
Well lit.
yes, everyone can see at all times. And LED
LED under cabinet lighting. There are also some LEDs in the bathrooms over the showers and tubs.
Okay.
So we try to utilize it wherever we can to help the efficiency of the electrical.
But Rick's Lighting doesn't only focus on these types of...
No.
Because you have chandeliers and whatnot
We
as well.
also do bathroom fixtures, chandeliers, ceiling fans. We did the gas lanterns on the front. Catherine picked them out, and between she and I, we sized them out and then did the matching electrical on the garage. So
Rick's Lighting has been in business for years.
28 years, individually owned by Rick Mappus, so, and it's been an honor to work for him for the last 9 years.
That's fantastic. Do you have anything else to add about the project, things you want to say that we might have missed in talking to everyone?
Well, I want the public to notice the floors.
Yes.
Because this is probably the most dominant thing about the house. To me, they were in terrible shape when we first started. But they're mahogany, varying widths, but they're from 12 inches probably up to even 16 inches. But you can notice that there's a gap between each one, so we had to get just the right caulking to match the floors and the right stain to pull it off, because it had a reddish tint to it, and the owners did not want anything red in the house. So, but the floors, if you can get a view of those, they're outstanding. They're some of the prettiest floors I've ever seen, ever dealt with.
You know what I appreciate about this whole project is it seems, you kind of were posed with these problems, each one of you, and you came together with a solution. And I mean, I think anyone buying the house, because this house is actually on the market, isn't it? Would appreciate that. And I'm sure, who is it in California? What's her name? Laura. Yeah, I mean, from being so far away, I'm sure she appreciated the hard work that everyone put in. And now I want to give everyone the opportunity to say your website and phone number, so we're just kind of going to go on down the line so that if anyone wants to contact you, they'll know how. So this is kind of going to be a process here. Now, Bob of Robert Morgan Fine Homes.
Robert Morgan Fine Homes.
And what's your website?
www.robertmorganfinehomes.com.
Well, that's easy to remember.
Phone number is 843-200-1230.
And Diane of Rick's Lighting, what's your website address?
rickslighting.com, one word, no apostrophe. My personal is Diane, 2 N's, at rickslighting.com. Our phone number is 843-763-2282.
Great. Okay. And Steel, Circulating.
Circlighting.com, and Steel, STEELE, at circlighting.com, and 843-937-5990.
Fantastic. Okay. Paul?
Mine's easy. It's aquabluepools.net. Okay.
Net.
And 767 pool.
Pool. Got it. Okay. Jessica?
It's really easy, molofts.com, and it's 843-723-4881.
And Chuck?
It's connect-tech.
He's got the dash in there.
Yeah, I got the dash, and then the tech with no H. Okay. So it's just TEC.com, connect-tech.com.
Do you want people to go to your website?
I repeat that quite often, yes.
Connect-tech.com. Awesome.
Phone number, yeah. This will be a lot easier, yeah. 843-564-1551.
Great. Well, thank you all so much. This has been a treat to walk through and see your hard work. So, all right, we've been speaking with everyone here in this Daniel Island home, and Christy Conway with Charleston Home and Design. Hi, I'm Christy Conway with Charleston Home and Design Magazine, and I'm here in this very cool, very small home in Awendaw with Paula, Phil, and Olivia O'Reilly, the homeowners. And also I'm with John from Rhino Shield and Bowen from Buck Lumber and Building Supply. Thank you so much for having us. This is really very cool.
Glad you could come.
Pleasure.
Tell me about your house, because it is very unique.
Well, it's 750 beautiful square feet in the middle of some woods. We enjoy the rural setting and had an opportunity to do some super downsizing into this as a temporary structure for us. We expected to be in the home for about 3 to 4 months. It's turned into what will be a half.
Okay.
So we've had some interesting things that we've learned, things that we didn't expect, some things that we knew were going to be challenges when you downsize from 4,500 square feet to 750. So we've made some adjustments along the way, and I'll let my husband fill in for
It actually makes me feel very young because I feel like I'm back in college,
Right?
living in an apartment again.
Okay.
But it's an unusual situation because Paul and Olivia are here, and our mother-in-law, Paula's mom, lives with us as well.
It's not just the three of you.
So it's three women and myself and the dog, who's the other boy in the house. But it's really actually been easier than we had originally imagined in terms of getting adjusted to it. The nice thing about, of course, Charleston is you live outside most of the time. And so we were able to use the porch very effectively, and that really expands the usable space in the house. But it's very efficient, sort of like living on a boat. And while I would be a liar if I didn't say I'm really looking forward to moving into our main house, which will be done towards the end of the year, I really have no complaints about this place at all. And it will ultimately become my office. So, and a guest, spare house for the guest. So, but right now I think we're in pretty good shape.
So you've lived here about a year, and
Yes.
you're going to probably live here for another 6 months or so.
Correct.
How has your mindset changed from the beginning until now?
Well, I think originally we were aware that we needed to use the space and design the space as best that we could. We tried to maximize the 2 closets that we have. We tried to maximize storage in the design of the 1 bathroom that 4 people share. And we did some things I felt were important from a design perspective to make it functional as best we could, thinking that we were going to be living in it at least short term, temporarily. Those were good decisions to make and things that have served us really well. One of the things I found when we were once inside the space and living here is that vertical space was critical. We have 9-foot ceilings, and it was important to open up the space at the tops of counters and cabinets to utilize that. So that was one of the things that we learned along the way. And consumption was another thing we expected. We would reduce significantly with the downsides in space, but we didn't really know or understand exactly how that would happen. Of course, our energy, water, gas, is all a little bit less, but we're still 4 people. So water, for instance, hasn't changed much. Naturally, the power and gas have changed significantly. But our consumption of trash is much different, and that's not something I anticipated. I'm not sure why that is. We bring a lot less into this house because we just, there's no place to store it. So I think that's certainly part of the reason why that for me has been one of the surprises about living here. But since we've had this experience and we did plan to build a main house at some point in the future, We expected to be here 3 or 4 months. We had a house design that we thought we were going to build, and it was large. But living in this space caused us to have some conversations about what can we live without. How much space do we really need in order to be happy and to feel comfortable in our space and in our skin? And so the house plan that we had, we significantly changed, went to complete departure to another house plan that was significantly smaller, based on the conversations that we had around how this was functioning for us in a surprising way. And what did we really, at the end of the day, need? What did we want to maintain? What did we want to maintain the exterior of and clean on a regular basis? And how many bathrooms did we want to clean? And how many beds with linens laundry did I want to do? And the answer became less is better.
Right.
You know, when you're talking about all those things. So we're trying to build our forever house, and it was valuable to have done this and turn those lessons into something that we could learn from and use in the construction of our main house.
I run a technology company. So for me, the other added advantage of a small house like this was we got to experiment with systems. Windows, gas, paint, the style of the house, kind of the structure of the house. And a lot of the things we learned here, we didn't know whether we'd be able to use propane in a larger house. We figured that out. We figured out how the water heating system should be laid out in the new house, and how the flooring material should be designed. And so it was great to be able to experiment on a small scale with something that wasn't permanent, and then to integrate those more permanent changes into the big house.
It seems like a common movement now for people to be, well, it goes both ways. Obviously, people are building the mansions still, but people are building smaller as well. And it seems like if you do it well, if you really think it out, it can be successful. And I see that with you guys, and that's why we're so excited to kind of display this in the magazine, because you can survive and it can be enjoyable and you can be happy. And that's the thing, space doesn't really equal happiness all the time. What I find interesting about your situation is the efficiency. And that's why I kind of want to roll over to John here. You chose Rhino Shield, which is not necessarily the most, well, it's not cheap, but it is efficient, and in the long run, it is going to save you some money. Is that why you chose it, or what other reasons would you say that you chose Rhino Shield?
Certainly, you know, you learn early that there's a difference between price and value.
Exactly.
And this is clearly a value investment that we've made in the property. But you also learn, particularly in my business, that people buy equipment from me. Over the lifetime of the use of the equipment, that purchase is actually probably 15 or 20% of the total investment. And the same is true of, I think, paint systems in a house. When we look at a 25-year lifetime on the coating on the house, and the amount of work that I don't have to do and that contractors will not have to do to stay on top of this. Particular experience in the house that we sold to move out here to Allendale, where even after 3 or 4 years, we were seriously considering a major painting investment in the property. So it's not just the one-time cost, it was the lifetime investment. And I think that's, again, true generally of the systems in the house that we've chosen here. The ones that we think didn't represent that kind of value are not being interpreted into the new house, but most of what we learned here was, I think, really effective.
So you will be using Rhino Shield in the new house then?
Well, there's certainly one of the candidates. We haven't gotten to that point in the discussion yet. So.
Well, can you speak about Rhino Shield and why it's good in this kind of environment?
Yeah, Paul had actually had experience with Rhino Shield on another property she'd owned. That's how we came about. So that was a good experience. So we did it on this one. But Rhino Shield is ceramic coating. It's 8 to 10 times thicker than paint. It's designed to waterproof and insulate your house, and pretty much ends the paint cycle, which in this climate is every 3 to 5 years, and I'd argue every 3 to 4, before it really starts chalking and chipping pretty bad. So The waterproofing aspect, the thickness of the coating, it's not a paint, and it keeps the home looking freshly painted, and the light pressure wash, you're bringing it back to its original look, and that's a big, big benefit.
And pressure washing, from my experience in speaking with you in the past, it actually breaks down paint, right?
That's correct.
So does that occur then with Rhino Shield?
Rhino Shield is a 67% solid compared to paints that have 60% water in them. And with that solid product and the use of ceramics, our product does not break down. You don't want to blast it with a pressure washer, but again, you can spray it pretty good. It is a scrubbable product. And the thickness of the product being 8 to 10 times thicker alleviates the breaking down.
Okay. And for a small space like this, I would say that it probably wouldn't be a bad idea because it's not that expensive, and yet it'll last forever, right? I mean, well, not forever.
Typically,
very long time.
2 to 2.5 times the paint job. It's a little bit more of an investment up front, but like I said, the insulating value alone, the energy benefits you receive, and not having to deal with a lot of different contractors and painters every few years while I'm in the industry, that's a good thing. Right.
Now, to go over to you, Bowen, Buck Lumber was responsible for the windows and the doors, and I think the windows are a huge aspect of this property, mainly because it doesn't feel like a tight space because this whole wall is, open. Can you talk a little bit about the efficiency of the windows and doors?
Yes, the windows, I mean, obviously are a focal point of this house, and they're low E, which is basically they block sunlight coming in. Now, it's not like they're tinted, but they have low emissivity. That's the right word.
That's a great word.
and they're low E argon filled, and they basically, I guess they energy-wise, they allow. I mean, the house is going to get more sunlight, and it's not going to they're not going to breathe. I mean, air is not going to be able to flow out as much because they're kind of losing it here.
Well, that makes sense. So you're not going to lose any kind of air conditioning that you're producing inside. And also, from what I'd imagine, is you're not going to heat up the small space as quickly because they kind of reflect that sunlight, right?
Exactly.
Okay, all right. Now, Buck Lumber also provided a multitude of other products for this house. Can you tell us what they were?
Yeah, we also do, so we did the doors too, we did the interior trim, we did the exterior products, we did the interior doors for the most part. We provided all the lumber, pretty much any product besides, I mean, the majority of the products besides your appliances and obviously drywall, roofing, stuff like that. But, with a smaller house like this, you really want to utilize space, and you want to you want to use doors that, you want to use products that aren't going to take up a lot of room, and you want to be, it has a simple feel, but, with the porch and the product integration here, it really makes the whole space feel bigger than it really is. And I think that the porch and the combination of doing French doors was a good aspect to add into this house, because you basically, when you open up these doors and you use the screen porch, you basically double the size of the space. And I think that is very important when you have a smaller space and have a family living there, is be able to have that vertical space or have that porch to make the area a lot bigger.
Now, sorry.
I would actually add one point though about Buck is a lot of people think, lumber's lumber, right? I get my lumber, I build my house. So we've lived in quite a number of houses. And I have to tell you, the quality of the product that went in, even the things that you just cannot see, paid huge dividends in terms of doors closing properly and correctly, drywall going on very smoothly and incredibly flat. So the quality of the raw materials that are the bones of this house had a real effect in the quality feel that I think you get from the house. Everything fits really nicely together. And unfortunately, that hasn't always been our experience in building homes.
Sure.
So obviously we're reproducing that in the new house as well.
So this is not the first kind of test home that you've had, obviously. You're kind of learning along the way then.
It's true. And, very often we've taken, here are the things that we love about the homes that we've lived in before. we'd like to incorporate those. And here are the things we just couldn't live with. And how do we change that? But one of the things I wanted to say about Buck as well, this was very much a budget-driven project. Now you'll see granite countertops and you'll see hardwood floors and mahogany handrails and Rhino Shield. We were willing to make the investment on a few items to give it a little more of an upscale feel. We want our guests to feel like they're in a nice place. We wanted to live that's durable and functional. We have a dog and you know, the wear and tear with a child and 4 of us living in a small space. We still do the same amount of activities and the same amount of wear and tear, but it's concentrated here. So the durability of the products was important in areas that we knew could be maintenance issues. The exterior, the flooring, the countertops. Those were really important, and we were happy to spend a little extra money there. I will say about Buck, the windows and door systems, I had a budget. And I wanted to live within that budget that our builder, Moss Construction, gave us. I felt it was a fair budget, but I really felt like I got quality products, and I had some things to compare in my budget. Very often, if it's a budget-driven project, you go in and they say, "Oh, this is all we have for you," you know, and how the doors operated, that they had the multi-point locking system, that was really important to me, and how that felt and how easy that was for her to use or a guest to use who's not familiar with the way those things operate. I really felt like I got a great value for the money in the windows and doors, and I had choices, and you don't always get that.
So like a low, middle, and high options. So
yes,
that if
even
you,
within my budget.
Okay.
And I didn't have to have the super high price name brand things because that's not what this was about. It was about, you know, finding what we could live with, putting, you know, high quality products in some areas, but then others not so much. But still being able to have the flexibility to make choices was great, and I really found that level of service at Buck was terrific. The way they directed me in those choices was really valuable.
Okay. Well, just right before we wrap up, I did want to talk a little bit more about what you've learned, what you would do differently if you were to live in a smaller space again. So, any thoughts? And kicking grandma out of the house is not.
That is not an option.
It's part of the family. So,
That's right.
Frankly, the value add there greatly exceeds the floor space consumed. So that's not an issue from my perspective. But
I think from a design perspective, I can't think of anything I would change, which is nice.
Yes.
Because we really put it to the test for far longer than we thought we would.
Yeah, like tips for anyone wanting to live small. I mean, people live in shipping containers now.
Yes.
I can't believe
Well, I think.
But
yes, and they're not street people.
right, they choose to do that.
I think another thing that became important, any piece of furniture, anything that has a footprint in here needs to serve more than one purpose. If it's a coffee table, it needs to store her toys. If it is a occasional table, it needs to store her toys. If it's holding the television, it needs to store books and toys. And
you got a lot of toys. Yeah.
If it's floor space where you would normally put one layer of shoes, it's probably good to have some systems that will allow you to stack 2 or 3.
Okay.
He and I are sharing a little bifold,
a
bypass door closet.
Yeah.
I have one house.
Well, the simple matter is
He
Paula
has
puts
one
all
house.
her clothes in, and then I get what's left, which is about this much.
Do you wear that same outfit every day?
No, seriously. So I think that's one good point is, I think it probably would have, we had the finished carpenters build basic systems into the closets. And as I look back, I probably would have invested in a professional to come in and look at building more efficient closet systems because we only have 2 closets in the space. The other thing, which is a compromise, is it's a Jack and Jill bath, obviously. And because of the physical space, we were required to put pocket doors in. The pocket doors do not create a lot of privacy in the room from a noise perspective.
Okay.
And so
When you're
while
brushing your teeth, it's really loud.
yeah, exactly, it's really loud. So I would have tried to come up with some other alternative that would allow the doors to create a little bit more of a sound barrier in the bathroom, given, you know, the way that
I'm
it's
sure
used.
Bud could have provided a one
Probably
with a
we
great
could
seal.
have come up with something else, but, you know, the pocket doors are great because they're incredibly efficient from a space perspective. But, so that would have been something
You're
too.
so
as well.
pragmatic. I love it.
And the last is, so we have a Rinnai hot water heater here, and we've had them before, absolutely love them. But because of the size of the house, we ended up going with what amounts to an economy model. And I have to be honest with you, that's one place where I wouldn't cut corners again in terms of the ability to manage the water temperature inside and to have the Rinnai kick on with even extremely low water flows and things like that. We figured small house, we can go with a really small hot water heater unit. It was the loss of the features there that causes a little bit of a compromise with the way we use water. One thing that we did do though, is we put essentially a half bath in the garage, which is a huge advantage. It's right next to the laundry.
And the garage is underneath.
Garage is underneath.
Clear,
It's, yes, a two bay garage. We put some basic air conditioning in there to keep it relatively low humidity, and have both the commode and also a big wash tub next to the washer dryer.
Nice.
And that is a crucial overflow value, particularly the bathroom facility there, when that one's being used for, you know, 30 to 45 minutes at a time.
Well, because you're living with 3 women, right?
Exactly. So,
Okay.
so I would say if I had to do, those would be the things that I would probably change.
Okay.
But other than that, I think the use of the space is incredibly efficient.
Olivia, do you like it?
Yes, I do.
Yes, you do. You live in that loft up there, right? Yeah. I mean, that's like a child's dream. So.
What do you call that? Your princess?
Tower bed.
Your princess tower bed.
I love it.
That's what she calls it. Yeah.
I love it. So once you move over to the new house, would you be over here playing in your loft still?
Yes.
Cool. All right. Well, I just want to give you guys the opportunity to say your phone numbers and your websites for people that are interested in getting a hold of you. So, John, take it away.
You can reach us online at rhinoshieldsc.com and also locally at 843-884-1992.
And I have to say, John, I have worked with you in the past, and you're very responsive, and I don't know, you're my favorite, so sorry.
I will say one thing about Rhino from our perspective. You know, these two guys, of all of the subs that we had on this property, they were here all the time. They really did an amazing job in terms of regular, couple of times a week, following up with the you know, with the people that were working here. We couldn't have been happier with the
Communication is
responsiveness.
key.
Absolutely.
And anyone who can just return a phone call
Yep.
probably
Yes.
gets more business than
And answer the phone
yeah.
is double bonus.
Exactly.
And both of these guys are great in that regard. And I do want to say about Rhino Shield's crew that was here, they were meticulous.
Absolutely.
The quality of the workmanship rivals the finest homes I've been in Charleston County. And the painter who did not get the exterior work actually did the interior work here and went so far as to say, those guys did a really nice job.
Oh, wow.
And, you know, sometimes they get their egos damaged a little bit, but I thought it was really nice that he would compliment the work that they did. That he certainly didn't have to do that, but it is a remarkable quality job that they did. They were professional. They were, you know, here when they said they would be, and that's not always the case with every subcontractor that you have on your job, and you learn to live with that. But the ones who are responsible and responsive and consistent on your site are the ones that always get
return business,
homemade
probably.
brownies
Well, yeah.
when I make them, you know, typically.
And you're about to start
Fridays.
making
So
some brownies,
that's
right? Cool. All right, so Bowen, can you kind of
Yeah,
explain?
Buck Lumber's on Maybank Highway, so you know, obviously we have a website, bucklumber.com. If you want to come in, we have a great showroom with windows, doors, interior, exterior. A lot of people there to give you ideas, and I guess you can reach us by phone, 843-814-7818. And love to have anybody in the showroom and show them some products and ideas for using conservative spaces and designing a perfect little house.
Yeah, I do want to say that when you first enter the Buck property, you actually have to go back. There's two different kind of buildings, right?
The showroom is the only new building at Buck.
Right.
It's just straight through 2 gates and it's on your left.
Yeah, so if you're looking to kind of touch and feel and understand certain products, definitely go to the showroom in the back there.
Always go to the showroom. It's a great spot to do.
Great. Well, thank you so much for speaking with me.
pleasure.
This has been truly a different experience because normally we're in these huge homes.
Yes.
So this is very cool. So anyway, thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Christy Conway, editor for Charleston Home and Design magazine, and this is my home. Welcome. My husband and I purchased this home about 1.5 years ago, and when we did, we knew we wanted to redo the kitchen. The process started about 6 months ago, and I'd say it was overwhelming. We had a lot of decisions to make, and I figured, having gone through the process now and having a completely new kitchen, that I might share what we learned along the process. When we moved into the home, the cabinetry that we got with the purchase was off-white, along with the hardware and the countertops. It was very monochromatic, whereas the backsplash was a bright, bright blue. The configuration of the kitchen worked well. However, the efficiency of the space wasn't very good. We wanted to kind of update the quality of the kitchen as well as add cabinetry around the existing refrigerator on the opposite wall. We approached HWC Custom Cabinetry for this project mainly because they are so good at efficiently using their space. And we also like their designs. The cabinetry that we chose utilizes these dead corners so well with Lazy Susans and things like that. HWC has these products within their cabinetry, which we thought made them unique. We chose this cabinetry in a frosty white with a glaze on the profiles here to kind of convey a traditional look. My husband and I just came from Lake Tahoe, so we kind of have a rustic style to us. But coming to Charleston, it's kind of rustic meets traditional, and that's what we wanted for this kitchen. The cabinetry really brings that traditional style with that and also the tile. In opposition to that really is the countertop. We chose a Carnival granite, and this granite really spoke to us. We saw it on the internet one day through Victoria International, and we had to go to Victoria to see it in person because it was so amazing. We couldn't believe that it was as cool as it looked on the internet, but it was actually better. The great thing about this granite is that it has some kind of iridescent qualities that match up with the cabinetry, but it also brings in that kind of rustic rust, if you will. It's got a rust look and a green kind of feel throughout. And green is our favorite color, so that really worked out well. Kind of in addition to that being rustic, we wanted a farm sink. And I've wanted a farm sink for years. I really like that kind of country look, but not going too country. And I really think this farm sink, or apron sink, if you will, really brings that vibe. We purchased this sink at Ferguson Bath Kitchen and Lighting Gallery, as well as this faucet, which is also sort of traditional meets rustic. We bought that there as well. The reason why we purchased this sink, and nobody thinks of these things when they're redoing a home, but we hated the sink that we had. Not only was it rusted, which is never good, it had a divider in the sink, and it was always getting in the way. Also, the bottom of the sink kind of slanted down into the drain, so we found that glasses and things were always falling into the drain. This has a flat bottom, which is great because we can fill it up with water, we can throw things in there, and I never have to worry about things breaking. The vision with the sink is I wanted it to be a focal point in the kitchen. We approached Jay of HWC about actually pulling it out of the rest of the cabinetry so it kind of popped. And he had actually never done cabinetry like that before, And I had seen it, and being the editor of Charleston Home and Design, I see a lot of these photos of homes, and I had seen it, and I knew that's what I wanted. I went to him, we talked it out, he drew it up on his CAD system, and immediately I knew that he had the same vision that I did. So that really provides a kind of pop in the room. In addition to that, we chose this backsplash from Palmetto Tile, and we wanted the tile to kind of be cohesive with both the cabinetry and the countertop, of course. We didn't want it to be too dominant, so we didn't want it to kind of conflict with the countertop, and we also wanted it to look very cohesive with the cabinetry. The backsplash is in an OG shape, the tile is, and the grout is very similar in color, yet it has kind of a brown edge to it because it's recycled clay tile out of California. We really like that aspect, mainly because I grew up in California and also because it's recycled, and I'm very into recycling. So all of those things combined kind of were the reason why we chose that. And kind of finally, we chose these appliances from Swift Appliance. We, of course, wanted to go with something that would last for a long, long time. We plan to be in this home for many, many years. So we chose a stainless steel because it is classic now. And we don't have any access to gas, unfortunately, in this property, so we had to go with an electric stovetop. Now, my husband, Mike, he really does not like those stovetops with the backsplash in the back. He thinks they're clunky looking. We wanted a sleek look because we feel it doesn't compete with the rest of the kitchen. So we chose this slide-in model, which we actually have really liked so far. We're still kind of breaking it in, but I'm happy so far. So Swift Appliance provided the oven, the refrigerator, and the dishwasher, as well as our microwave, which is really amazing. It might be my favorite part of the kitchen, which is kind of odd. It's very small shape. It looks like a very miniature television, and it fits a whole dinner plate. We figured we didn't need much more, and we fit that within the cabinetry so that you don't have to look at it, so that we can have this amazing hood, which also the hood insert was provided by Swift Appliance. So we can have this amazing hood as kind of the focal point when you walk into the kitchen. Last but certainly not least, when we purchased this home, we knew we loved the floors in this house. Unfortunately, at the time, the floors had a kind of amber hue to them because they had been stained in an oil finish. Many years of wear and UV rays had turned this amber color, which happens to oak hardwood floors. So we approached Elegant Hardwood Floors to refinish these hardwood floors with these great inlays. Just keep the inlays because that's what we loved from the beginning. And they refinished it with a water-based stain so that they wouldn't amber over time like that. And it's actually a harder stain, so the softness of the wood itself would not get affected so much by high heels, dog paws, whichever. Children. So we're really happy with the way that turned out, and I think it maintains the kind of look that we had originally fallen in love with this home, so we're pretty pleased. It has taken 6 months for us to get through this remodel, and I have to say it was quite overwhelming, and lots of surprises occurred, but it was a labor of love. It was really quite a fun experience. Being in the home and design industry, it was interesting to see from your perspective what it's like to redo a home. And I do hope that while you're remodeling your home or you're building your new home, that you like every decision that you make. You take the time to really decide what you want, because you're going to probably live with this home for many years. I know that we made decisions that were right for us, and every day we walk into this kitchen, we fall in love with something new. And I do hope that for you. So, thanks for visiting.
I'm talking about a home, talking about me and you, the things we'll do. I said a home, I'm not talking about a one-night stand. Be your man. I said a home.
been listening to Talking About a home show on the radio. Talking About a Home is brought to you by the publishers of Charleston Home and Design magazine and the organizers of the Charleston Home and Design Show and the Custom Home and Remodel Show. To make contact with any of the companies featured today, visit newhomecharleston.com, Charleston's online home show, and home to over 200 local home-related companies motivated to work with you.